few times.
How did it feel?
Bad. Bad scared before, bad sorry after. You gotta wave at him and feel like he's a man.
My favourite Charlton Heston movies. For my viewers who like to know what my own opinion is compared to online ranking sites, today I have made my short list of my favourite Charlton Heston movies. Just my own opinion. I chose a much loved and prolific actor we all know. Let me know in the comments if there is an actor you'd like me to make a similar list about. I am not a film critic or expert in any way, just a fan that loves movies. Obviously these are movies made a couple generations ago when I was younger. I can't help but base my preferences on when I first watched these movies. In other words, not a recent decision I made. Like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. Let's get into it.
Bad scared before, bad sorry after.
BenHur, 1959. Director William Wyler. A religious, epic film that has it all. A remake of the 1925 silent film with a similar title, adapted from Lew Wallace's 1880 novel BenHur, A Tale of the Christ. Some epics that are good don't age, timeless. Just like any great art, BenHur is one example of such movies. One of the best and biggest epic biblical movies ever made. About cruelty committed against Judah BenHur and his path of vengeance, also connected to the life and death of Jesus. Epic in every way, featuring Imperial Rome. Some sequences are truly impressive, as in the case of the chariot race. The special effects in the film were the best available at the time. The colour is intense. The cinematography amplifies the epic effect. Arguably Charlton Heston's greatest movie, making him famous with the most memorable character he ever played. It's a long movie, but the audience gets so caught up in it that they don't even feel the time go by. Wonderful. I have to admit, as much as I love this movie, it's difficult to watch in one sitting now. The desert sequences were all set to be filmed in Libya until authorities in the country, a Muslim nation, realized that the film was promoting Christianity. The government ordered MGM out of the country, forcing the studio to shift filming to Spain, which has the only desert in Europe. Also features Stephen Boyd, Jack Hawkins, Haya Harit, Hugh Griffith, Martha Scott, Kathy O'Donnell, and Sam Jaffe. Soilent Green, 1973. Director Richard Fleischer. A film that makes you question everything. A mystery sci-fi movie where a cop in the future searches for the truth behind a corporate curtain who's controlling everything, making the population have to comply. This movie is fascinating as it has a basic, mysterious plot that draws you in, based on an interesting idea. Soilent Green was released in 1973. Considering how different and new it was for its time, Heston played Detective Thorne, a character that made a difference. Edward G. Robinson played Sol Roth, and Lee Taylor Young played Shirl. If you haven't seen it, I'd add it to your must-see movies if you're a Heston fan. At around 33 minutes, the scene where Thorne and Roth share a meal of fresh food was originally not in the script, but it was ad-libbed by Charlton Heston and Edward G. Robinson, at director Richard Fleischer's request.
For the secret of Soilent Green. You will find out why Soilent Green means life. You will find out why Soilent Green...
The Greatest Show on Earth, 1952. Director Cecil B. DeMille. A grand epic. If you've never been into the circus, think of this as a trip to the circus. Heston, as always, is great in the lead role of Brad, the tough manager of the circus. Heston was driving through the studio lot when he saw Cecil B. DeMille, whom he had never met. Heston waved. DeMille was so taken by Heston's wave, he made inquiries that eventually led to Heston being cast as Brad in this film, only Heston's third film, skyrocketing him to fame. One fan wrote a letter to DeMille on how much he enjoyed the movie and commented, "And I'm surprised how well the circus manager, Heston, worked with the real actors." Heston thought it was one of the best reviews he ever received. Also great was James Stewart as Buttons the Clown, a very different role for him, but it's great. The Best Picture of 1952, The Greatest Show on Earth, is great, especially if you've never seen and felt it. One of Cecil B. DeMille's best movies. I recommend it.
Listen to that band. Hey, Whitey, can you see him yet? I see him, Brad!
The Omega Man, 1971. Director Boris Sagal. Again, Heston in this film left an indelible mark on me to this day. When I saw this movie for the first time, it made me look under the bed for a week, reinterpreted from The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price, 1964. The Omega Man still holds up as a warning. Admittedly, doesn't hold up after time, as well as Heston's other great movies. But remember, I'm basing my favourites on when I saw them originally, decades ago. Some effects are pretty dated now. Heston had approached Orson Welles to direct this. Tim Burton has said that this is one of his favourite films, and the one film he would bring with him if he was stranded on a desert island. He later worked with Heston on his remake of Planet of the Apes.
I was a med school senior when they scratched the world.
Family.
God, I forgot to keep the fuel up in the generator. They'll be into the garage!
This is not the place where all the dead were burned. Get the switches.
Damn it! And step on it!
Planet of the Apes, 1968. Director Franklin J. Schaffner. A game changer, with social commentary, like many sci-fi films, as much about the time it was made as much as a look into the future. It addresses the threat of nuclear war and touches on racial tensions through the lens of a post-apocalyptic world. One of the things that makes it work is the inverted society of the Planet of the Apes, allows for an underlying message, while at the same time offering a great sci-fi adventure. The best parts are the early scenes leading up to the capture of the astronauts, the confusion of the strange world, and the shock arrival of the horse-riding apes in the fields are frightening. Rightly praised for the ape makeup. High praise to Jerry Goldsmith for his soundtrack, whose strange tones frame the visuals. Heston leads the picture and provides star power. Credit to the character actors in the heavy makeup that would make the best impression, namely Roddy McDowall, Kim Hunter, and Maurice Evans. During breaks in filming, actors made up as different ape species tended to hang out together. Gorillas with gorillas, orangutans with orangutans, chimps with chimps. It wasn't required, it just naturally happened. Will Penny, 1967. Director Tom Grease. This was one of Heston's favourite roles. Not hard to understand, as it's one of his best and most honest performances from what was a long and impressive career. An understated western that stands out as it relies on story over histrionics and a commitment to the norm. No ode to the Old West, of gunslingers shooting it out and riding into the sunset. Penny is the real West, where cowpunchers are actually that. Cowboys, working with cattle, earning enough to eat and maybe some rock gut as remittance for their efforts. We find a romance in the Western genre that is real. The three-family dynamic at the core of the film is well written, not rushed, and importantly, not ruined by the ending that Grease delivers. Hackett gives a subtle part, opposite Heston, in a role turned down by many prominent actresses at the time. Support comes from Donald Pleasance, Ben Johnson, Lee Majors, Bruce Dern, Anthony Zerbe, and Slim Pickens. The hat that Charlton Heston wore here and in about 4 other westerns was a treasured item of his. It was later stolen. If you like this video, make sure you hit the notification button so you see all my new videos as they come up. Take a look at my channel to see all my many other videos. The link is in the description. Check out my Facebook page as well. I appreciate likes and subscribers. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.